Good afternoon. My name is Ali, and today I'll be presenting the system implementation and evaluation project for Comp42. I created an ERP system for an imaginary skyscraper building, a company named Sky Builders. The scope of this project, aside from the entire ERP system, the scope was to focus on the dashboard, which provides all-inclusive data from across the ERP system. Then the next module was the finance module, which was designed for a finance manager. And then the last one was a mobile app that was designed for a site manager that would be on site on the go and away from their laptop. The purpose of the design is to help Sky Builders transform into the digital age. And in doing so, we get to gather data from their previous projects, finance data, scheduling data, to help with enhanced metrics in the future. So the main tasks covered, as we can see right here, they start off with task 1, which is Rachel Adams. She's a project manager and needs an overview of her key metrics to manage her projects better, such as upcoming deadlines, diminishing resources, and budget tracking. The next task that we focused on was task 5 right here. So this is Phil Dunphy, who's a finance director. He needs access to budgeting metrics and needs key finance tools such as expense tracking, accounting, invoicing, and more. And we can move on to the third task. These are the main tasks that we're focused on for this project. The third task is, just this one right here. It's from Martin Perez, who's a site manager who's on site and needs to ensure that a subcontractor is ready for work and that all tasks and documentation are up to date. So for the walkthrough, what we did was I started the walkthrough with the specific task at hand. So for example, we had task 1 with Rachel Adams, who once again was the project manager at Sky Builder. We describe the task context and then we go into a step-by-step interaction where Rachel logs into her account using her credentials and she's logged in. We know when we see her image on the top left. Next, she sees the dashboard overview, which is something that's very important for Rachel since she is a project manager. She needs access to various forms of information right from the get-go. Usually these project managers, they're managing more than one project at a time. So she'll get to see the progress overview. She'll get to see resource management and pending alerts, whatever information that she needs. Then we go on to discuss the sidebar and what uses the sidebar has for Rachel. And we talk about the next task, which was for the financial director at Sky Builders. He has a more in-depth overview of information, and he also has access to finance tools. So he's able to use the sidebar. He has a progress overview, the other widgets as well. Finally, we have the phone or the mobile app task that is designed specifically for Martin Perez, who's a site manager, someone who is on site and he needs to select a specific contractor that they have contracts with, and then he needs to ensure that their documents and everything is up to date. Prototypes were developed using Figma. So we worked through various prototypes and I came to this right here. Every piece of the prototype is built individually, and the evaluation purpose was that we needed to ensure that all must-have requirements were met. So these are the must-have requirements right here. So we have real-time data synchronization. We have an integrated dashboard. We have cross-platform application for all departments. We've got customization and scalability. as the main must-haves. The other part of the evaluation was that it needed to be very intuitive and it needed to be familiar. So uh, if someone is logging into this for the first time, they should be able to have direct and instant access to whatever they require that's specific to their department. Having a confusing system is only demotivating for a client. Implementation technologies, what I used was IntelliJ. So this is an IDE that's works pretty well with my Mac. It's very well organized and it's set up properly to work with my Mac. I used JavaFX for the UI aspect, and I used Scene Builder to help me create the sceneries or the UI interface. So this is the IDEA, IntelliJ IDEA IDE. This is my some of my program. And then this fxml file is generated using Scene Builder. Of course, you can just go in here and you can edit the code directly as well as you wish. You can preview it here, and I installed the app specifically for Scene Builder as well, just because it's a lot easier to see. It's interesting to use this because it's not just a UI design tool. It actually is used to program functionality into the tool as well. So for example, we have this arc right here, which if I just go into the inspector, go into the code section, we see that the FX ID for this one is progress arc. So this arc specifically, it's connected to, let's go over here. It's connected to this method right here. As we can see, progress arc dot set length arc fill. So I'm doing the math here to ensure that the arc is filled in correctly depending on, for example, what the finance budget is. In a few seconds here, I'll just show you how selecting the project changes that as well. In a real world situation, once all of these requirements are programmed in, this actually would lie on the cloud. More private companies, they would prefer on-premise cloud solutions, whereas many companies that do trust public cloud solutions would be okay with the industrial cloud-based experiences. So design rationale, my reason for designing it the way that I did is, number one, it needed to be modern. So I didn't want just a non-visual interface. I wanted something that people could look at and actually see where they're going rather than just having text boxes and text. A lot of the design was inspired by Notion. I'm a heavy user of Notion. I use it to handle my academics, my personal work, fitness, everything that is that I need to handle. And Notion is one of those applications where you start using it and you're very familiar with it. It feels very familiar. And that's what I wanted for this as well. That someone who is already a user of modern technology, someone who has an iPhone or Android and uses modern technology on a regular basis, or modern applications such as Office, PowerPoint, they're able to open this and they're able to access every bit of information that they could require. They had to have access to all of the major requirements that we discussed earlier. As we can see in the interface right here, one of the things that I added is that it says up to date. So that fulfills the live aspect, that everything needs to be up to date. We have the edit modules and then add modules down here as well to make sure that it's a customizable interface. And as I just said, the modular design aspect, it needs to be modular, it needs to be editable as per the user's need. Of course, with constraints in terms of visual aspects, you need it to still look good, but they need to be allowed to create the layout as per need for added functionality. The functionality aspect is very important when it comes to interface design. So we have some screenshots, and then let's walk through a little bit of how this program works and how to access different aspects of it. Before we start, I want to say that the app chooser right here, the app chooser is more so just for the purpose of testing. Since we want to choose either a dashboard, like a computer system, or a phone mobile system, and then the actual interface is designed right here. So we can just go over to dashboard, click run. We see this app chooser right here. I guess let's start with the dashboard first. So we have the dashboard right here. One of the first things is, like I explained about the arc, we can select our project. So right now we're on project 1. We can change the information depending on which project that we're looking at. We have the resource management section. So this is considered a separate widget, which changes information per project. And then we just have a pending alerts with alerts that could require urgent information. These buttons over here, they're all dummy buttons for added functionality for someone who does need to access further details, such as the contractor connect, calendar, inventory. We do have the finance module. If we just click right here, that we can access. One of the first things is we see is that if Phil Dunphy, for example, was to log into a system, this would be the first thing that he would see. Of course, Rachel Adams can click into the finance and have a similar view as well. So Phil Dunphy, he can click this finance tools button right here just to put the sidebar away. He has access to some of the other buttons as well, since he is a director level. Different people in the company will have different levels of access depending on where they are in the organization. Phil also has different tools such as expense tracking, budgeting, accounting, billing tools. Phil also has access to the same arc right here. So for example, approaching budget limit, this is an extra widget that would appear for something that's problematic, like reaching a 3 million budget. And then Phil has various steps that he can take. This is one of the things that was discussed in the task description and as well as in the walkthrough, where Phil needed to create a report in order to schedule a meeting with the lead project leads and discuss their next step. Phil also has access to various widgets that he could take a look at for recent expenses and upcoming expenses. So we're just going to select mobile, and we get the mobile app opened up right here. Once again, the must-have requirement of being always live is present with the up-to-date indicator up here. For someone like Martin Perez, who is on the go, he might lose cellular coverage, and this would go offline. Of course, he can still update information, and as soon as it goes online, it'll synchronize with the rest of the system. We have the contractor selector, which you can choose the contractor and look at information that's specific to them. So you have a contractor details, you can add whatever information that you want here. We have contractor specific documents. So this is, of course, in a real world situation, clickable. We see, for example, to verify the task for Martin Perez was that his subcontractor's license was expired. So imagine that this license is expired. He can click into it, open up a document, and reassign a license to him, and give him the work authorization for that day to work. And then he has some assigned tasks where he can update and select what tasks this specific subcontractor needs to do for the day. All right, thank you for watching. This has been the SkyBuilders ERP that was designed specifically for SkyBuilders, making sure that all of their requirements, must-have requirements, were met, and even some of their should-have requirements were met. As we can see, for example, the calendar right here, which was a should-have style requirement. Thank you for watching.